This is an anime recap video, and in this video, I'm going to show you a muscular boy named Mashle, who is born into a magical world. He has no magic but can defeat any magician. The anime begins by introducing the Divine Visionaries, who are the top magical experts in the world and play a crucial role in keeping everything running smoothly. New members often get invited to join the Bureau of Magic, the main magic institution that handles various tasks and protects society from potential threats. At the Magic Academy, Mashle and his friends are getting closer to becoming Divine Visionaries after defeating Magi Lupus. Despite Lang's coins going to the House of Adler, rumors spread about Mashle's supposed inability to use magic after his battle with Cell. Mashle, relieved to survive, eagerly anticipates their victory celebration after school. Finn, however, lacks confidence and worries about the consequences of silencing the student who exposed Mashle's inability to use magic. His concerns become real when another ugly student questions Mashle about his apparent lack of magical ability. Mashle calmly denies it, saying that he can use magic, but the rumor continues to spread. Finn remains silenced, ignoring the conversation and pulling Mashle away from the situation. However, the ugly student warns Finn about the potential consequences of befriending a non-magic user, revealing that he could be fired from the Magic Academy. But Finn dismisses him, saying that he has the right to choose his friends. Suddenly, Lance arrives, activates his gravity magic, and crushes the student who issued warning to his friends. In the middle of all this, Lemon arrives and introduces a bandaged Dot who is in tears as she explains the seriousness of his injuries, including 6 broken ribs, a depressed skull, compound fractures in all 4 limbs, and other ailments. Despite his injuries, Dot screams something from beneath the bandages and wants to be free. After school, everyone gathers in Mashle and Finn's room to celebrate their victory against Elle. Excitement fills the air, but Finn can't shake the feeling that they're overlooking the fact that the defeated individuals have now joined them. To lighten the mood, Abel brings out a deck of cards. The leader of Magi Lupus, however, makes it clear he's not here to be friends but to celebrate Abyss accepting his past. Abyss, warning against defeating his boss in the card game, receives an offer of food from Lemon, who suggests he be mindful of his language. Expressing gratitude awkwardly, the leader mentions that Abyss isn't familiar with girls and tends to refer to them as females. Dot twitches in frustration as Love devours all the food. Lemon, trying to feed Mashle a cream puff as a gesture of appreciation, is accused of the traditional woman play. Unfazed, Mashle rejects the offer, showing he can feed himself. Accidentally dropping the cream puff, Lemon complains, only for Mashle to use his adept breathing to catch it before it hits the ground. Finn inquires about Lance's whereabouts during their battle with the enemies, and Lance reveals he was dealing with someone who claimed to be a death row inmate in the basement. The inmate retreated midway through their fight, leaving Finn shocked at the revelation. Watching the peculiar gathering, he feels that something unusual is happening. Abyss sits with Mashle, giving a cautionary message as a gesture of thanks for the invitation. He reveals that Innocent Zero, the worst crime syndicate in the magic realm, has targeted the magicless student. Abel gained power by helping them, obtaining his third line through artificial means, thanks to Innocent Zero. Genuine triple liners, he discloses, are even more formidable than Abel. The leader of Magi Lupus only borrowed their resources to gain more coins, deeming it a small sacrifice for the greater good. The number 2 believes that the Innocent Zero is targeting someone with a connection to Mashle, warning the magicless student to be careful as they're likely to return. Abyss is certain of facing punishment from Innocent Zero for their loss. He explains Abel's desire to create a peaceful world for kind people like his mother, thanking Mashle for preventing his boss from straying. Abyss believes Mashle can make their dream a reality. During their conversation, Finn joins Abel as they head back to Abel's room to grab a board game. Finn wonders why he has to be paired with this guy. At the same time, the same ugly student attempts to sneak into Mashle's room to find evidence of his inability to use magic. Surprised to see him talking to Abyss, he questions why Abyss is with a magicless boy. Just then, the ugly student is caught by returning Abel and Finn, who inquire about his intentions. The ugly student quickly excuses himself, leaving everyone bewildered. Suddenly, an owl interrupts Mashle and Abyss's conversation by crashing through the window, dropping a letter for Mashle before quietly leaving. Lemon and Abyss join Mashle as he opens the letter, their expressions revealing dread. Mashle is summoned by the Bureau of Magic the next day for an emergency inquiry regarding his concealment of his inability to use magic. Mr. Bless acts as the judge and labels it a serious crime, explaining that non-magic users pose a threat that must be eradicated to preserve what has been created. Mashle argues, saying that things don't always have to be perfect. Divine visionary Rio interrupts, stressing that success is all that matters and believes Mash has the potential to become a real man. Curious about the divine visionary's presence, Mr. Bless questions why he's at the hearing. Rio dismisses such details, informing Mash that they live within rules set for the majority. He explains that rules exist to maintain order, and accommodating everyone would disrupt that. To illustrate, he summons a candle and challenges Mash to light it without touching it. Rio emphasizes that magic is everything in their world, asserting that Mash needs to demonstrate a miracle stronger than magic to justify his existence. He challenges Mash to prove himself as a true man. Mr. Bless criticizes Rio as cruel for asking someone without magic to light a candle without touching it, deeming it impossible. Despite the skepticism, Mash steps up and accepts the challenge. Confusion arises as Mash takes out a wand, given his supposed inability to use magic. Placing the wand's tip close to the candle, he rubs it against the ground with tremendous speed, generating a giant fire due to friction. The unexpected burst of flames lights up the candle, surprising everyone. Mash vows to sway the majority with his fist, earning a smile from Rio, who acknowledges him. Meanwhile, a bureau staffer named Sean waits outside the trial room, trembling as he sees the divine visionaries approaching. Inside, the divine visionaries discuss the impending punishment for the magicless student. They question Mr. Wahlberg's decision to allow the situation. Mashle emphasizes the importance of regulations to maintain order. In the hall, Mash thinks they are adjourning after completing the challenge. Mr. Bless dismisses this as selfish nonsense, but his rant is cut short when magic sand binds to Mash's leg, followed by a massive sand blast attack. Mash stops the attack and wonders who did it. Mr. Bless is surprised to see many divine visionaries. Mashle, a strict individual, thinks the system breaks if they allow exceptions. He finds it ridiculous for those in higher positions to make exceptions based on fleeting emotions. Mashle says Mash must make amends with death. The student is confused, thinking this decision represents the agreement of all divine visionaries. A distorted voice interrupts, stating the judgment is unacceptable. Everyone turns to see that Mr. Bless has been possessed. Innocent Zero, the culprits, reveal themselves and insist that Mash belongs to them, telling the visionaries to back off. The visionaries speculate that Mash must have an unusual origin to be connected to them, but Mash strongly rejects the idea of being someone's possession. Renatus dismisses his opinion, and Innocent Zero declares their seriousness. They reveal that they've planted a magi parasite inside Mr. Bless, shocking Sean, who cries out. Mash wonders about the magi parasite, and it's explained that a magi parasite is a dangerous creature that feeds off mana and uses humans as hosts for its larvae. Trying to remove it often results in the parasite finding a new host. Innocent Zero asserts their dominance, considering the act a statement that the world belongs to them. Rio cuts through the talk, deducing that Innocent Zero is declaring war against the Bureau of Magic, eager to end the long-standing conflict. Rio supports their new direction and reveals his intention to remove the magi parasite. Sean warns him that the parasite is a nemesis, especially for powerful magic users like Rio. Rio, confident in his strength, decides to proceed. Mash removes the parasite, and after a brief struggle, he spits it out, tying it up in his mouth. Sean stops berating Mash, realizing his creativity. Mash gently places Mr. Bless down, claiming he closed the case by defeating the enemy messenger. Rio praises Mash's flawless actions, considering him a treasure. Mashle disagrees, stating that the regulation is law, and Mash's opinion, as a non-magic user, should not be respected. Mash protests, planting his feet on the ground. Mashle attacks him, preparing to finish Mash off, but Rio intervenes, holding Mashle at his wand point. Despite Mash's objections, a giant sword from Rain causes both parties to back off. Just then, Wahlberg enters the room, shocking everyone. Guys, please do 3,000 likes and subscribe to support the channel. Please, it will help me create more videos. As Innocent Zero and Wahlberg stare at each other, Wahlberg tells him that he will not let him meddle with his students and will not allow him to take one of his students. Just then, one of Innocent Zero's members notices that the powerful dark magic, capable of stopping time, has no effect on Wahlberg. However, he believes that they were prepared to face this kind of situation and Wahlberg himself. Just as he thinks about this and begins to attack Wahlberg, he gets shocked after seeing a large axe slice through his body. Wahlberg takes off his hat and glasses and tells him to back off as there is no place for losers in this battle. This bloodthirsty aura causes the man to shake in fear, but Innocent Zero calms him down and tells Wahlberg not to treat his allies so harshly. Wahlberg then asks Innocent Zero about his goal, and Innocent Zero tells him that his goal is to become the perfect human, a human who cannot die. Wahlberg laughs at his goal and calls it pathetic, and asks if he would sacrifice the countless lives of innocent people for this goal. Innocent Zero questions what's wrong with his goal, and tells him that he doesn't see this hard to understand. He reveals that his family exists for his sake and Mash is no different as he exists only for him. Wahlberg laughs at his words and says they are destined to oppose each other. He tells him that Mash will become a hope for the world, and if he wants to take Mash, he will have to get past him first. Just then, as Wahlberg says this, 2 extra lines appear on his face and his wand begins to transform. Seeing this, Innocent Zero tells him that it's been decades since they last crossed paths with each other, while revealing 2 extra lines appearing on his face as he says it. With this, they both activate their powerful spells, with Innocent Zero going for the Summon Kronos God of Time and Wahlberg going for Summon Uranus God of Sky. Not only this, Innocent Zero also casts another spell and summons a large group of dark, one-eyed demons. He informs Wahlberg that he has no need for anyone except Mash, and that he will eliminate all of the students of this academy. Just then, Wahlberg unleashes a powerful spell of his own, which frees Mash, Lance, Margaret, Caldo, and Dot from Innocent Zero's time-stopping spell. He informs his freed students that he will explain everything later, but at the moment, he wants them to protect the other students from demons as he will take care of Innocent Zero. With this, Lance and Dot begin to fight off some of the one-eyed demons. Caldo, while fighting with the demons, thinks to himself that he has to help Wahlberg. But before he has a chance to do anything, one of the demons jumps at him. Before the demon can attack him, Order comes in and finishes it with his sand magic spell. After clashing with them, Order believes that every single one of them has the strength of a double liner. He tells Caldo to help Wahlberg, but upon seeing demons coming from the floor, believes that Innocent Zero wants them to not interfere in their fight. Innocent Zero mocks Wahlberg, saying that he has left everything in the hands of his students, but Wahlberg informs him that he believes in his students and Innocent Zero should be worried about himself. After this, the 2 of them teleport to somewhere else in the sky. Wahlberg says that this will allow them to fight uninterrupted. On the ground, Dot says that they are eliminating the enemies, but they are still keeping coming, and Lance tells him that support will come, so they just have to keep holding on. As he says this, a large tower appears behind them, with an even bigger ball of spikes flying above it. Upon looking at it, they notice that Cell is standing on top of the tower, and he is the one who created this. Margaret points out how the creatures are attacking all of them, except for Mash, who is standing still by himself. She then says that she expects they have some surefire way of stopping him. Dot asks how Margaret would know this, to which she replies, saying that it is because of her woman's intuition. Dot shouts over to Mash and tells him that they will deal with the group of one-eyed demons, and he should go after Cell, otherwise, the ball of spikes will kill all of the students. Hearing this, Mash agrees and quickly runs towards the tower. Dot thinks to himself that climbing the tower will take too long, and Mash will be an open target for the enemy. Just then, Mash looks at the tower, and after a few moments, he kicks it with his left leg and breaks it down. He then kicks it several times and leaves only a small section where Cell is standing on. After that, as they stare at each other, Cell tells Mash that they finally meet again. He informs him that destroying his tower will get him nothing as the big spike ball is still hanging above the students, and if he wants to stop it, he must defeat him. However, before he can finish his words, Mash, with a forgetful look, tells him that he is glad to see him after a long time as they sat next to each other at the entrance ceremony. Shocked at this, Cell asks if he really forgets about him, and Mash, after a few moments, apologizes to him for this. As Dot and the others fight off the demons and try to finish them off, he notices that there is a baby on the battlefield. As he looks over at it, it says the word BBs, and this turns Dot into a baby. The baby then transforms into a man who states that his name is Sitter Baby, and that he is one of the criminal Canes. He reveals that his magic can turn anyone into a baby, making them weak and helpless. Dot, after hearing this, attempts to use his explosion magic, but to his surprise, he finds that it does not work as he cannot use his magic. Seeing this, he runs away and starts looking for Lance. He finds him and attempts to talk to him, but Lance cannot understand him as he only hears the noise of a baby. The Sitter Baby casts his BB's spell again, but this time Lance saves Dot from it. Just then, 4 of the demons jump at Lance and try to attack him, but he finishes them off with his gravity magic. With this, he realizes that from this moment, he will have to fight off the creatures while protecting Dot. As Lance is fighting with the demons, Dot notices a baby rattle on the floor and begins to crawl towards it. Lance also notices this and tries to stop him, but he is turned into a baby as the spell of Sitter Baby hits him as well. Now turned into a baby, Lance can no longer talk, and Dot gets annoyed at him. Just then, another baby rattle appears, and this time, both of them crawl over to it. Dot thinks to himself that his baby instincts can't resist this toy, and Lance thinks that he has to acquire more control over his body. Otherwise, he will not become a divine visionary. Sitter Baby says that their defeat was decided as soon as they got hit with his spell, and with this spell, they cannot use any more than 10% of their magic power. With this revelation, he tells the one-eyed demons to finish them off, but before they can do so, Lance attacks him with a sectional gravile spell, which crushes the Sitter Baby into the floor. Sitter Baby questions how it is possible for Lance to still use his magic, to which Dot explains that restricting Lance's power didn't make much of a difference to him, as he was able to cover for the loss of power by focusing all of his magic into one spot. He tells him that Sitter Baby was up against a powerful magician who is also a top student of this year's class. Seeing this, Caldo thinks to himself that it is rare to find magic users whose talent defies their age, but he wouldn't expect any less from Easton. On the other side, as Ryo and Neri head towards the Easton Magic Academy, Neri asks what kind of relationship Wahlberg has with Innocent Zero. Ryo explains that the magic realm that they currently live in was built up by one great magic user, who became the foundation of divine visionaries. He reveals that his name was Adam, and there was not a single person who could stand up to his dark magic, and Innocent Zero and Wahlberg were Adam's best students. Hearing this, Neri asks if Wahlberg and Innocent Zero are equal in power, to which Ryo says that they are, but believes that if Innocent Zero is launching a direct assault, then he must have a trump card to defeat Wahlberg. In the sky, Innocent Zero takes off his hood, revealing a featureless face, which shocks Wahlberg. Innocent Zero then puts his hand on his face and transforms into his past self. As he does this, Wahlberg asks if he has abandoned his humanity, but Innocent Zero says that he is more human than anyone. He says that he has desires like humans, but there's no limit to his greed, and he will bring Mash back today along with Wahlberg's head. After that, he casts a spell called Times, the Living Dead, which begins to transform into an evil clock-like thing and an evil chain coffin in front of it, and Wahlberg, upon looking at this, says in shock that it is a forbidden spell. Down on the ground, Cell attacks Mash and begins to finish him off with his spell, but to his shock, Mash starts running through his magic. Cell launches more of his spells at him, but Mash also runs over them. When he reaches Cell, he punches him in the face and knocks him to the ground. Cell, seeing this, thinks to himself that last time, Mash was barely able to keep up with his attacks, and wonders how he can now fight with him evenly. Mash then reveals that he now remembers him, and he is the Black Thorny one, but then says that he has already seen his tricks once, so they will not work on him again. Like and comment if you enjoy this video. Subscribe to my channel for more anime recaps, and tell me what anime recap you like to see next in the comments below.